Hey everybody, welcome back. We are getting ready to start my docu-series, and putting quotes up because this is one of the limited series ones, and it's Dahmer. It's one I've been wanting to watch, so I didn't bother putting it up on a poll or anything between which docu-series to watch. I know that this one is a bit controversial. Victims weren't consulted. And of course, all of them tend to do some re editing. They'll either put events grouped together that weren't initially grouped together, or they'll change some things around just to make the storyboard work better. So I know not everything in this is going to be true to truth, but Jeffrey Dahmer is a serial killer, was a serial killer, and I believe he targeted young boys just like not Jeffrey Dahmer. That's who we're talking about. The other one, Florida. I don't know if Dahmer is Florida or not. Is it Ted something? Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting who my serial killers are. But I tend to mix up Dahmer with the other guy that I can't remember the name of. So I do mix up those facts. So I might say, wait a minute, as we're watching it. But at any rate, let's just go ahead and get into it. Watch this first episode. I don't know how many episodes there are in the limited series. Is it six? Four? No, 10. I thought it was only like six, but it's 10. So let's go ahead and get into it and see what happens and go from there. And this is episode one, and it's called episode one. Not too much we can gain from that. I imagine we're just going to get an introduction to who Jeffrey Dahmer is, as far as maybe his public face. She's listening to the vacuum cleaner, I think, wishing she was the one vacuuming. Ted Bundy is the other one I get mixed up with Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, that's what's driving her crazy. It's not a human, though, is it? It's going to be like cutting up a lamb chop or something. It was a lot of blood. There's a lot of bleach in the house, too. They're purposely not showing us his face. He chugged all of that fast? Is that a dead fish?
Jeff.
So it is Jeffrey.
I forgot my tropical fish died. They get this disease. It's called ick.
Ick.
That's true. Fish
Yeah,
get
that's what they
ick.
call it.
Infects the whole tank if you don't get it treated. So he is cutting up people already. Well, since we're in the 80s, I'm going to at least like the music.
Tonight I'm a man of action.
One of them's dying then, huh? I forget what song this is. Is it Enya that uses... I think it's Enya. Yeah. Uses the Gregorian chant as part of their song. Is he seeing a younger him?
Maybe we'll stop by later. It's a nice little bungalow.
Is that the real address?
Here we are.
So it was a fake address he gave him. Can he smell the smell? 214. That's the door number that Stephen King uses, isn't it? Or is that 217 or 314?
Oh, and it all went bad.
Yeah, never let anybody lock you in.
Hold on a sec.
So he's drugging him if he drinks
Like
it.
those photos?
Drugging himself? He poured the powder in the blue cup, didn't he?
What? Drink it.
Don't drink it.
Why does everybody always want to leave me?
Because you're creepy.
The fuck?
What?
Did you get it on him already?
Nothing. It's for the photos.
Stop.
Where are you going?
Yeah, he got it on him already.
Just calm down. Go in there.
So the neighbor's hearing this,
What?
hearing
I'm not
parts of it
going
at
in there,
least.
John. Joy!
Is this what initially gets the police involved?
You got
Maybe?
neighbors. Sit down. On the bed.
The bed isn't made. Don't tell me it's porn. He's watching some type of
Quit doing that.
exorcist.
Stop trying to leave. Okay.
There's a blood stain.
I told you I'm gonna pay you.
Whatever's on the floor is out of focus. Is it another person?
I mean, you want to take some photos, right? Huh? You gotta put that knife down.
I don't think playing into what he thinks Jeffrey wants is going to do what he thinks. Because that type of individual, as soon as they start to get what they want, what they think they want, they're confused and
Get the camera.
everything by it anyhow.
Bedroom.
He's going to try to escape, and that trick lock is going to stop him. Polaroids are not really what you think of when you think of modeling type of pictures. It is The Exorcist they're watching. I wasn't positive with the other scene that we saw.
Am I weird?
Yep.
It was The Exorcist 3.
Oh,
I watch it
Exorcist
every
3.
day.
I've only seen the first one.
I'm just gonna skip to the best part.
The death.
I wanna hear you hurt. Because I'm gonna eat it.
There's your red flag. He's had lots of red flags, but that's definitely a red flag. He's not going to be able to get out of there. Now, can the neighbor hear all that? Why is the energy surging? I'm guessing the barrel in the bedroom is for hydrochloric acid or something like that, although I can't remember. I know he ate his victims, but he didn't eat all of them, so are the police going to believe him? If the police don't believe him, his friends will, but something's gotta initiate police getting involved in the first place. Is that the neighbor? Police.
You wanted to play cops and robbers.
No, I didn't.
Hey, you let us handle this, okay?
Like
Why does
I
it
said
say
before, I think we were
213?
just,
I thought he was
playing
in
around
214.
and,
Can they smell the smell? The one guy can smell it. Now, I don't know if the key to the handcuffs is a ploy to get into the apartment or not, because it's just a stick that you put in that pushes a button that releases the lock on it, and anybody's
Okay,
keys
where
would
now?
work. So like
In the
their
drawer?
keys would work on the cuffs.
yeah, I think it's,
What is it?
Do you just see where he's cutting them up?
I hope you die, motherfucker. Fuck you. I fucking hope you die.
So are we pick it up at the end then? So she had been calling.
yes. Yeah, I'll be there right away.
So it's Jeffrey's father. I can't tell if I know the actor or not. Usually these type of shows, they don't use too many well-known, because a lot of well-known actors don't want to do these kind of roles.
It's very difficult for. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for becoming emotional. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, an attorney would say he's talking too much, a defense attorney. They haven't even
Is
asked
there
their
anything
questions
else
yet.
you'd like to? And I don't know if there was brain damage, for, too much anesthesia.
It might have what?
I was going to say,
Damaged him?
hernia operations happen all the time. They don't turn people into serial killers.
You're aware that your son is homosexual, yes?
Maybe he wasn't aware.
Allegedly, he lured a man back.
What items? What are you talking about?
A drill,
I'm just gonna tell you right now, this
an
is gonna
electric
be
knife.
difficult to hear, Mr. Dahmer. There was a human head in his refrigerator.
Okay. Which is why they didn't open it all the way.
There was 5 more skulls.
That were in that
Knives
barrel.
and hammers and saws and Polaroids
No, if that was
capturing the dismembered.
hydrochloric
In another
acid, it
drawer,
would
we
have eaten the
found
bone
a
too.
complete human skeleton. The bones had been bleached. And we should
Dad's
just
in a
tell you
state of
that based
shock.
on
As a parent, how do you even start to process that? I don't think his parents knew. Shock is wearing off. That's the neighbor. Are her glasses broken? That's the unfortunate thing the innocent bystanders have to deal with is all the press and paparazzi.
Where exactly am I supposed to go?
The entire building's a crime scene.
I know that
There's
voice. Is that
toxic
Niecy
chemicals in there that could be a
Nash?
hazard.
It doesn't look like Niecy to me, but it sounds like Niecy. But I don't see her enough, so it might look like her. And it's over. Are these short episodes? It wasn't a full hour, but it didn't feel like it was 50 minutes either, so that threw me off a little bit. And Evan Peters is the one that's playing Dahmer. And I've seen Evan before in American Horror Story. I was trying to think of the name of it. That is Niecy Nash. So that was her voice I recognized. I just didn't recognize her face. But like I said, I don't see her face often enough. The last time I saw it was on when she was on Rookies. And I know she's had a show since then, Rookies Feds or Feds Rookies or something like that. Molly Ringwald is playing the mother, so that's going to be interesting. I like Molly Ringwald. Richard Jenkins, I've seen him before. That's the father. He was in Burn After Reading. I wouldn't know him from that, though. I mean, I've seen it. I just remember Brad Pitt was a bit cray-cray in it. He was in Kong Skull Island. He was the senator, so that's probably where I recognize him from. Oh, he was Cabin in the Woods. That's definitely where I know him from. There's a movie called Happy Thank You More Please. All one word. all, all one word. Okay. So I definitely know him from Cabin in the Woods, and I've also seen Kong Skull Island. So Tracy was played by Sean Brown. He does not look familiar to me. All right. I was just curious as to, while I had the IMDb up, I was curious as to what else we'd see. So it was it was a long episode, but it didn't feel like it was an hour already. And I guess it's because the first part of it seemed really, really, really long. It was taking forever. We were doing all these long shots. The camera was up close to both Tracy and Dahmer. I mean, the very, very first part of it, we didn't even see his face right away. We were focused on the midsection the whole time. So the beginning of it felt long, but the guy escaping from that point on felt really, really, really short. And so I was a little shocked it was over already when we were at that part. I knew that Dahmer ate his victims because I often mix up Dahmer and the Donner Party. I think the Donner Party is a family from frontier times that ended up eating others in their party that had died. Yeah, the Donner Party, which is Donner, is a group of American pioneers who migrated to California in a wagon train in the Midwest. Delayed by a multitude of mishaps, they spent the winter of 46-47 snowbound in the Sierra Nevada mountain range. And they're also referred to as the Donner Reed Party. And in order to survive, they ended up eating those who had died, I believe. Primarily eating the bodies of those who had succumbed to starvation, sickness, or extreme cold. But in one case, two Native American guides were deliberately killed for purposes of eating. There's the name that oftentimes gets mixed up, Dahmer, Donner. And then as far as who did what, Ted Bundy versus Jeffrey Dahmer, I mix up who did what. But I did know that Dahmer ate his victims. I don't know if Ted Bundy ate his victims. I think he did too, but I'm not positive. I know that Ted Bundy also lured usually college age men and women. I think it was both men and women. The pictures that the officer was looking through, I couldn't see real close. You could see flesh, but I couldn't make out like a body part or anything like that. So I don't know what parts of the body we were looking at. And then when he flipped to the one and went, "Oh God, it's real." Obviously, it was either decapitated or a body part was cut off or something like that. The excuse to go into the apartment to get the handcuff keys did not seem real to me. And I started thinking, it was, even if it was novelty handcuffs, those had really janky keys. They weren't exactly the way law officer handcuffs are, which is you push the little pin in and twist to get them to unlock. I was trying to think well, this was 81, so maybe the novelty ones didn't have a safety latch. I know the ones that came with my costume, Psycho Ward prisoner or something like that is what it says. It came with the Hannibal Lecter mask and some handcuffs. Well, the handcuffs, I just have to push a button on them to release. They're not, and even though they're metal, you can tell they're real cheap. His didn't look fake. His looked like law enforcement officer cuffs. So I don't understand why they weren't able to use their own cuffs. So if any of you are law enforcement and can answer that, otherwise, it seemed like a ploy to get into the apartment, which Jeffrey let them in. They asked to look around, and he didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. He did say he would get the key, and they said, no, no, you stay right where you're at. I'll get it. I think technically, and an attorney would have to clarify this or not, I think technically they could say that that was an unwarranted search or something because they opened the drawer without permission. But they had other evidence in there for probable cause. They had the blood on the drill that they saw. I was trying to think if they saw any other probable cause other than the witness. I don't know. I don't know. And that's one of the things I'll do after I finish the series. If you haven't watched any of my other docu-series type stuff, I like to then go and compare what was accurate, what was not accurate. Was there stuff they left out that they should have included, all that kind of stuff. So I will find a good source for that to hopefully figure out what was accurate and what wasn't. I think that's it for this first episode. Hopefully, I talked enough. I know I talked during the downtime when there wasn't a lot of dialogue and stuff, but hopefully, I talked enough to make it a postable worthy episode. But we're going to stop there for now and we'll get episode 2 done sometime, probably next week, maybe tonight. I don't know. We'll have to see. But thank you all for joining me on this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.